Welcome to I Know Jax. I'm Joe Talentino. I've had a great week. How about you? It's a busy time of year here at I Know Jax because we're preparing for a birthday party. I Know Jax is hitting our Terrible 2 in November. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. I'll talk more about the upcoming event later on in the show. Now, if you hang out on Facebook, I'm sure you already know that I was at the Home and Patio Show last weekend to shoot. It was so much fun. There's always lots to see and lots of people. Now, are you getting ready for Oktoberfest celebrations and Halloween? Me neither. Nobody told me summer was over. When you live up north, it's easier to keep up with the change of seasons. Here, it's still kind of summer. I went to the airport recently to drop off my son, and I was surprised to see a bunch of people enter the airport all bundled up in fleece jackets, sweaters, boots, and that kind of stuff. Here, we're still wearing flip-flops. Life is good. Okay, now I told you I visited the Home and Patio Show, but did I say it was to check out this tiny house? I'm at the popular Fall Home and Patio Show, and I'm going to go inside and check out everything there is to see. Lots of great innovations for the home. This Murphy bed, for example, how cool is that? Everything on the desk stays put and the computer can stay plugged in. Pretty cool. Then there were workshops and cooking demos and a tiny house that drew a huge crowd. All those people are actually waiting to go inside and get a closer look. And I want to know, what is this whole tiny house movement about?
The tiny house movement is about people that want to simplify. There's a couple different reasons people get into tiny houses, but people that want to simplify, people that want to have a positive impact on the environment,
right? And
then also people that are looking to save a lot of money.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing I look at is you can't have a mortgage after you've got that thing built. You're done.
Right. People build them for as little as, in some cases, $10,000.
Cool.
And I've heard from couples that have saved that money up in less than a year.
Right.
They build a house and then they're living mortgage free.
You can do that on your credit card.
Yeah, some people probably do.
I'm just saying the average debt for credit cards in America is less than that. So.
And then after they're built, my mom, who lives in one, her bill is less than $25. Her electric bill is less than $25.
What? That's crazy.
It's a lot less.
A lot of savings to go around there.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Dan's mom used to live in a mobile home here in Florida that had storm damage and was falling apart. So Dan decided to help out. That's when he built his first tiny house.
So I happened to see a story on PBS about the tiny house movement, and it just seemed like a perfect solution. It was a house I could build in Atlanta, take it down to her, something I could do myself, something cheap enough I could do myself.
Yeah.
So I built her house, took it down to her, and she's been living in it ever since. Well, I think it's definitely catching on. I mean, when I started, you could hardly find any information about it. There was just these one or two obscure stories. But now, you talk, when I give the presentation here, I say, who's heard of a tiny house? And I get, 70% of the people have heard of it.
Right.
So it definitely seems to be growing, and I think the benefits are the reason for that.
Right. Now these are classified as an RV, is that correct?
Yeah, generally it's different depending on where you live, but very often the local government will classify it as an RV.
Do you see this being something where there might be RV parks specifically for this type of housing?
Yeah, it's definitely people are out there trying to do that because where you can park these things completely legally right now is in RV parks and mobile home parks. And the people that have traditionally been moving into mobile home parks are not motivated by the same reasons as people that want to live in tiny houses.
Right.
And so you've got this little mismatch, and it's perhaps a little less desirable.
Different demographics, definitely altogether. Now you sell these things done, but if I understand it right, the big business is really selling the plans and kind of the how-to. Is that correct?
Yeah, most of the people, probably 85% of the people that have a tiny house have built it themselves.
That's kind of cool just in itself.
Yeah, I mean, people are getting into it.
You own it in other ways than just
exactly.
monetarily.
And I mean, the pride that people have of being able to, these are people that worked in an office all their life, and all of a sudden they built their own house, and then you get to sleep in this monument of your awesomeness every night when you're
Talk about the footprint for this one, for example.
This is our smallest house. This is only 12 foot, which is a little atypical. It's probably one of the smallest tiny houses you'll find. It's only 96 square feet.
Okay.
And
so it's a tiny house.
It's a tiny house. And normally they'd be 20 feet long, which would be 160 square feet. This one's still got a full loft in it, so you can put a queen size bed in there, and it's got a bathroom and a kitchen, a sitting area, a little desk.
So everything you need in how many square feet?
96 square feet.
96. I
Yeah.
thought I heard you say that the first time. Wow.
Oh, that's what people have gone in there, and people have said, I thought this was 960. You know, they were just
wrong.
confused.
There's
Yeah,
not a
right.
zero there. 96.
I'm like, no, under 100 square foot. And that's, I was telling somebody else, when you measure the square footage of a house, you measure from the outside.
Right.
So you don't, and a big house, the thickness of the walls is kind of, it
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But when you're talking about a house this size,
Yeah.
it's a big
Every
portion.
inch,
Yeah.
every inch counts for
So
sure.
It's probably more like 80 something of livable area.
So how expensive is it to build one of these houses if you want to do it yourself?
For this house, the materials are $12,000.
Wow,
And for
okay.
our 20-foot house, it's $16,000.
So not that bad at all, really.
not at all.
So let's do that and then pick a plan
Yeah.
and go for it.
Exactly. And it takes, the biggest component if you're going to do it yourself is the time that it takes.
Right.
So a house like this might take someone 3 months to do it full time.
Right.
If you can't dedicate full time to it might take you about a year. But
Right.
but the fact is that it's going to be done eventually, and you won't have any of those payments going forward.
Well, where can we get more information about these types of houses?
My website is tinyhomebuilders.com, and we've got the plans. We've got a video series for people that are trying to figure it out. And
So like a how-to video?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then we've got a book and the plans, and then also we have the houses.
Well, cool. Well, good luck with it. And
Cool.
we're going to have to see if we can track down some people here in Jacksonville that are doing this and follow up with them. So you'll see more tiny houses on I Know Jax. Isn't that just a cool idea? Now, that particular house might be a little bit too tiny for my taste, but you can, of course, build one slightly bigger and get more room. I just love the idea of being able to scale down a little bit to make things easier. Now, I read somewhere that people spend an average of, I think it was like 10 to 15 minutes a day looking for missing things. In a way, I was relieved to know that I'm not the only one who loses my cell phone or can't find my shoes, but still, over a year, that's a lot of time. So if I lived in a smaller house with less stuff, I would get all those minutes back. Next, we're going to continue on this path of how to simplify to make life easier and better. Today I've got Zach Fury of Garden of Eatin with me, and we're going to talk about what's good to plant here in the fall.
There's a lot of stuff that's really good to plant here in the fall. The fall time is my favorite time to plant. You've still got the stuff from the summer still producing,
Right.
and at the same time you can also start planting like your spinaches and your lettuces and your kales and your
Right.
broccolis and carrots and all that other stuff. So it's really a great time, and it's a lot of fun.
I think this is actually a better time of the year to plant than the spring is because of the things that you can get, and there's a good overlap between the two.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a perfect time to call us and have us put in a garden for you.
Well, I was going to ask you now, how did you get started with this whole thing?
Well, so many people are wanting to grow their own food and obviously eat better and eat healthier, and that's a great way to do it. And they're in a subdivision and they feel they don't have the space, or they've just never done it before and they're intimidated by it.
Right.
So what I do is I basically, I have a proven system to where so many people
Zach
have
to the
enjoyed
rescue.
it. Exactly. I come in and I set it up to where they don't even have to lift a finger, and they're basically planting and eating from their garden that very night.
So do you train people on how to tend the garden and do that stuff as well, or do you just
I do. It's a very short training session. It's
10 minutes and you're done?
It's water when it needs to be watered, and that's about it. I do I take all the nasty work out of it, so you're not going to the Home Depot and buying big bags of dirt and getting your car all
trying
dirty
to figure
and
out how the
doing
whole
all
thing
that
works?
stuff.
So I understand you have sort of a system. Can you explain to me how that came about?
Well, the way it works is basically people will call us with their concerns of saying like, oh, well, I have a patio where I don't have much room, so basically I can custom build them a box. I can custom plant what type of vegetables that they're interested, what type of things that they eat and they want to eat more of. And I come out and I also show them where the best place is going to be to plant it as far as how much sunlight it's going to get and stuff like that. So you're also getting that advisement on that end of it.
And you got to get a little adjustments there if they're wanting things that they might not be able to do, I'm sure.
Exactly.
If somebody wanted to find out more about this online, where can they do that?
Definitely. You want to go to Garden of Eatin Plants at Facebook. And you can also email us at gardenofeatinplants@gmail.com. And, or you can just call us at 386-972-1891.
I'm Jasmine Ray, and you're watching I Know Jax.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/IKnowJax. After every show, we upload our stories to YouTube. You can also find the full-length episodes, and last week I created some awesome playlists for I Know Jax episodes, calendars, and beer news. So if you have a website of your own, feel free to embed any of our content. The more the merrier, I say.
This is Maul Jones, and you are watching I Know Jax. Blow!
Thanks for hanging out with me here tonight. I hope you're having a great weekend. I always do. Now I'm going to send out information about the upcoming party in next week's newsletter. We're going to have a birthday bash at the Fish Company in Atlantic Beach on November 3rd. That's a Sunday, and we'll be starting around 4 p.m., so make sure to mark your calendar. I'd love to see you there. I'll be back next week with another episode of I Know Jax, and until then, I'll see you on the internet.